so long. Yo, like one thing about Umuzi, yeah, no, then you're not gonna make it. I could have said this and that, like I don't know how I felt. First of all, you didn't just give up. Second of all, you didn't just lie.
Maintain that, stay the same and maintain it. Safe to say the kid get older. Forever gang, I'm never switching over.
Hey ladoras, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is going to be a fun sit down video. I'm basically going to be talking about my Umuzi bootcamp experience and how I got into the school. First things first, I want to tell you about the timeline of Umuzi and basically the backstory of how I got into Umuzi. So I had applied to Umuzi the same time I had applied to We Think Code. That was back in 2023. I was just basically applying to a lot of these things. I did the aptitude test, passed the aptitude test, and then they said, okay, we'll wait until we give you the bootcamp dates. I think there was an administration problem when it came to Umuzi that year because they took so long. Yo, like one thing about Umuzi, they just took time to reply back. It was basically paused for quite a while. And then they sent out emails the next year, 2024, maybe around June, about, okay, sorry about that. Our administration had issues like I suspected. And then they basically made us choose another bootcamp date, but that was not finalized, right? The finalization was in October of 2024. I got the bootcamp. My bootcamp was on the 28th of October. It's a 3-week bootcamp. And after the 3 weeks was done, I then received an email back from them saying that I passed the bootcamp. I'm going to now go through a programming pair session with one of the staff members of Umuzi, right? It's just a one-on-one, 15 minutes, and that was that. They did not reply back to me until 2025, this year. I got a WhatsApp from one of, I think it's an intermediary between the learnership company that I got and Umuzi, and she was basically saying, hey, you were selected to have an interview with one of the sponsoring companies, learnership. Basically, tomorrow is your interview. I just am going to have a quick talk to you, a rundown on what to expect of the interview. Like 15 minutes before the interview, and then you'll have the interview. So then she sent me a Google Meets for the Friday. So the next day I had a Google Meets in the morning, 8:30 for the session that she wanted to talk to us at, and it was with 4 other applicants. And then she was basically running through what to expect in the interview, and yeah, so that was 8:30, and then my interview was 9:15 a.m. in the morning. The interview was literally 5 minutes, and that was that. Can I tell you something? The day before, I had a speech about who I am, what I do, what I bring to the table, but guess Anna, it was literally 5 minutes, so short, and that was that. I ended that interview feeling that, I could have said this and that, like I don't know how I felt. Oh my gosh, it was like so nerve-wracking, eh? But like that was that. I put it all to God's hands, and then she WhatsApped me later that day saying, hey, I made it through. I was like, what? Okay, cool. And then she proceeded to say that she'll send me a formal email on Monday, because I knew that was Friday. So yeah, that's basically the timeline of my Umuzi application process. I started at the beginning of 2023, end of Feb, March, and I got my bootcamp November of 2024, and then I basically got the news that I had passed in 2025. Okay, so now that you have my backstory and timeline of Umuzi, let me tell you the application process. Foolproof, ladoras, because I got you. So you first start off with an aptitude test. That is basically the same story as the We Think Code aptitude test. What I did was basically just search aptitude tests on YouTube, on Google. It was really nothing hectic for me. I wasn't really nervous about any aptitude test because it's basically just testing your thought process, your pattern thinking. Just don't really be too worried about that. Just search aptitude test if you really must. But yeah, maybe focus on your patterns, because I think that's what most people fail to grasp. It's mostly the patterns. They don't really ask anything coding wise. So that was that, and then I passed, and then now it's the bootcamp. The bootcamp depends on your program that you picked. I picked the web development program, so that means I had to have an understanding of the web development tech stack, which is usually HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I did have coding knowledge, right? I didn't come in fully blank. It's just that I did not have maybe the web development knowledge, but for the fact that I did have coding experience, other coding languages come easily to me, right? So the bootcamp came along. It's 3 weeks long, and you are basically added to a platform that has cards that you have to do. It's basically a to-do list that you have to check off every single time. They do not have a specific timeline on which to do it. Just remember that the bootcamp is 3 weeks long. When I say they do not have a specific timeline, I mean they don't say this must be done in day 1, this must be done in day 2, day 3. You don't have a schedule on that. You just have a bunch of cards, a bunch of to-do lists that you need to check off. So my advice to you guys to pass the bootcamp is to check off as many cards as possible, as many to-do lists as possible. So in terms of now the curriculum, we did freecodecamp, basically the HTML, CSS, JavaScript of freecodecamp. In the beginning, it wasn't anything web dev based. It was very much just the basics of JavaScript. And maybe to escalate your chances of getting into Umuzi, you can search on YouTube a crash course, sololearn. You know, guys, I fully believe in sololearn because it's really nice, it's easy, and it makes sense. For me, the difference between We Think Code and Umuzi Bootcamp is that you basically learn on the job. So with We Think Code, because it's a 6-day bootcamp, that was really difficult in the sense that I would have advised that maybe the month before the bootcamp, or as soon as you knew when your bootcamp is going to be, you would like basically start your Python learning. With Umuzi, because it's 3 weeks long, you can learn on the job. There's really no need to have had prior knowledge because you have 3 weeks to learn. But obviously, with everything, it is beneficial to know what you're getting yourself into beforehand, just to increase your chances of getting into the school. Shame, it was a lot. That 3 weeks bootcamp really just required you to sit down and do your work. You can't think that, okay, 3 weeks is more than enough time for me to do my stuff. There's a reason why it's 3 weeks long, guys. So don't you dare think that 3 weeks is too long for you. You can skip 4 days. Don't do that. Also, like, the more cards that you smash, the more they see, oh, okay, this person is really reliable. This person is a reliable source. You do use GitHub, so please make sure that you have your GitHub. You have a freecodecamp account, you have a GitHub account. And then one thing that I can note about Umuzi is that you guys really need to be disciplined. Because Umuzi is fully remote, you don't have peers to talk to and ask for help. Even though you are put into a group chat with your fellow boot campers, and there is like a help desk where you can basically put in your ticket and ask for help, and then the staff, I presume, would help you. It's not like they're going to answer you on the same day, as opposed to like your peers. When you have somebody next to you, hey, how can you do this? they can answer you within seconds, immediately after your question. But with the help desk, you're really on your own. So we need to be disciplined in that regard, like have accountability. Another thing about the bootcamp process is that, I don't know if you guys have seen a GitHub issue board, but if you haven't, please Google that and please search that on YouTube. It's basically like an issue board, right? There's a card that says to do. So you take your to do, you move it to doing. You do it. Once it's done, you move it to review. One thing about Umuzi, they are strict on their reviews, and they make sure that you understand that when it comes to the onboarding session, is that their reviews is basically the creme de la creme, because that's basically what you do in real life when you are working as a software developer, like when you're working in tech. More oftentimes than not, you will get somebody's code base. That's why they make it a point for reviews, so that you know how to review somebody else's code base and what you would then do to make your own code base more readable and more user-friendly, right? And after then, the person that is reviewing your work would say it's okay. Once it's okay, you move it to done. That was basically my 3-week bootcamp. It was all about taking my cards from doing to done, doing to done, doing to done, reviewing people reviewing me, making sure that what I review is the standard that the staff members review. Because if the staff members are reviewing somebody else's work to be not good, and then you say it's good, they also clock that and they see this person is actually not even reviewing properly. They're just doing it so that it's one less task to do, and you will get in serious trouble for that. So just make sure that you are reviewing properly, in as much as you are getting reviewed properly as well. When my 3-week bootcamp was finished, I think I waited about 5 days until they asked me to have an interview with them. The interview was called the pair programming session. I got the pair programming session, and basically what that is a Google Meet. One of the Umuzi staff members writes a code, and you have to walk them through the outcome of the code. If you know your coding language, then you would know what to do in the pair programming session. I wouldn't be nervous if I were you, because the staff member that I got was really just nice. And where I didn't understand, he would basically help me understand. Yeah, each question goes up in difficulty level, and if you already don't know difficulty level 1, what makes you think that you're going to know difficulty level 7? And if you don't know each of those difficulty levels, then I'm sorry, but you're not gonna make it. And if you want to make it, make sure that you know your coding language, okay? Which is not going to be difficult for you if you take your 3-week bootcamp seriously. I fully believe in you, ladoras, because the fact that you clicked on this video makes me know that you are ready to take your life to the next step. Basically, just make sure that you word your answers in such a way that you're breaking down the problem, you're letting the staff member walk with you in your thought process, and you're allowing your staff member to be the staff member. What that's saying to the staff member is that, okay, this person might not know the answer, but she was able to break it down, tell me her thought process, and instead of just like lying to me and tutoring me, she basically said, okay, this is as far as I got. Can you please help me with the rest of the problem? You didn't just give up. Second of all, you didn't just lie. Most of these people don't really like know-it-alls, like, I can do this, I don't need this, you know, like they want someone that they can be able to teach, be teachable. So that was my pair programming session. A session is 15 minutes long, and it did last for 15 minutes. The whole time I was just basically walking my member through my thought process on the problem. And that was that. I did not receive any word back from them for a long time. December comes, no word. So now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like, did I make it in? Did I not make it in? Like, just tell me if I did it, you know, so I can just move on from the school finally. Anyway, come January, at this point, I'm just honestly thinking that I'm not even holding my breath for Umuzi. Let me just continue with my learning. I even like posted on LinkedIn that I'm going to do 100 days of coding challenge. I applied for She Codes, and then I got into the She Codes Plus programming, which is a 4-month thing. And I'm basically just coding away, making sure that I am developing my skills. Mid-January comes in, and then I get a WhatsApp from the intermediary, and then I have my interview. So in this interview session, an advice that I can give to you is to sell yourself. Don't even wait for them to ask you A, B's, and C's. Every question that they would ask was already in my opening statement. My opening statement was basically who I am, any cool projects, what got me into tech, my likes, my strengths, like that was in my opening statement. I think that's why my interview was short. I basically had answered their most pressing questions. It could be different for each person. After my interview in the morning, I later on got a WhatsApp text from the lady saying, hey, you made it in. I was like, real? For real, for Rizzy? Because I was thinking it was going to take another 5 months for them to get back to me, but it was literally within hours, and I was so ecstatic. Yes, stay tuned for more Umuzi content, guys, because there's really not a lot of Umuzi content out there. I don't want to lie. Like, I really don't know anything about Umuzi. The only thing I know is one hand who had like a bad experience with Umuzi. So I am here for you, ladoras. One thing about me, I think I'm going to be a bootcamp connoisseur. So you guys know the goal, to be a software engineer with no degree. So watch this space, because I'm definitely going to make it. I back myself up, and one thing that I like about myself, you will never see me give up, because I know that tech is the dream. Software engineer is the dream. It could take me a long time to get back up on my feet, but I will not stay down there, and that's the tea. So there you have it, ladoras. That's my bootcamp experience and how I got into Umuzi. Any other pressing questions about Umuzi, even within code, you can holler at your girl Pam Ladora, and there's going to be more content coming in for you, so stay tuned every Wednesday, guys, because I am a consistent queen this year. Okay, I know. Also, I'm going to start a TikTok page or channel, I'm not sure, so please do follow me down there as well, because I'm going to be talking about tech. I'm very serious about tech this year. And yes, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm your girl Pavadora, and I'm signing out. Yo, I've been making so many mistakes. I don't want to lie. It's so hot in here, okay? Chill. Hi, I have a new setup. Hashtag shout out to my yaba. Thanks, Baji. Hashtag poshed. At the pair programming session. Oh, that's a tongue twister. At the pair programming. What is going on? Pair programming session. Pair programming session. Pair programming. Blah, blah. Gosh. This is your moment. This is it. Okay. Cut the cameras.